going to start with Haddon Freeze and his dad, Micah, joining us here in studio, right here on Off the Bench Radio. And guys, how are we doing this evening? Thanks for coming down and spending some time with us tonight.
Yes, sir.
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
So, Haddon is a rising junior for the Ringgold Tigers, a multi-sport athlete, and got to see him up close last year, Justin. Our first Coca-Cola Red Zone game of the week, we covered that Ringgold and Heritage game, and first high school start for this guy, almost 180 yards and a touchdown, and a big win over the Generals.
Oh, yeah, jumped right off the field at us. I think at the time we were mispronouncing his last name due to spelling, but we see a lot of athletes. We see. And then it's one of those ones where you walk off the field, or at some point you learn, he's just a sophomore, and you're like, this is going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, and great another two-sport athlete here on the show, and just a great story altogether.
Okay, Justin mentioned the mispronunciation of your name last year. Obviously, I'm sure it's spelled like fries, but you pronounce it freeze. Is that a common mispronunciation? Or?
Everybody mispronounces it.
Well, you got two of us early in the season last year.
The worst, one time somebody pronounced my name Mitch Fritz, and I was like, you know what? As long as you get my attention, I'm rolling with it. Haddon is Hayden Fries all the time, man.
And to be honest, I was just trying to think of I can just see him plowing somebody in the end zone, be like, you want some fries with that? But, I still like Mr. Freeze, too, so we're going to work some NIL stuff out of here for sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's good stuff. Well, I think it's because you picked against these Ringgold Tigers in that game last year, so I think you were trying to go for the
I don't think there's any evidence. I don't think there's any evidence of that.
You just got
judging by the size of these fellas next to me. I don't recall that at all.
We also have it, like Justin, you mentioned a surprise visitor, and that is his teammate Bryce Hart. And for any '90s wrestling fan, the nickname Bryce the Hitman Hart. So, Bryce, how we doing this evening? Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us as well.
Good, sir. I'm doing good. It's a blessing to be here.
Well, you guys both play football for the Tigers, so kind of talk about, I guess, how's your off-season been going? Had some pretty good moments last year for Coach Crisp's first year as head coach, so kind of talk about the off-season, what you guys been up to, getting ready for the start of summer ball, and August will be here in no time.
I'm feeling really good about the off-season. We've never had an off-season like this before with the new coach and everything. It just feels really good.
Bryce, how about you?
Great. Me and Haddon been going to Peak Kinetic, trying to push each other, stay on each other, even during dead weeks, whether that's me meeting up and picking him up from his house and going to the local elementary school and putting work in there wherever we can. We try to stay on top of each other and stay after it.
Yeah, for sure.
So talk a little bit about the training right now. You're obviously at Peak. You can talk about Peak and what they do for you, and obviously Pat and how they play into the two-sport aspect, the fact that you play baseball and football. Just kind of spend a couple seconds talking about Peak, shouting out those guys.
Yes, sir. They just do everything, based on what you need. They just work on, what you're lacking in your game.
Bryce, how about you? I mean, obviously you mentioned Peak. Kind of talk about what that staff down there does for you and getting you ready, because it's definitely a big thing to just stay conditioned and get ready for your practices at Ringgold.
Most definitely. So I've never really had a trainer, and so having that structured plan for Peak has been big for me. First of all, it's just a great staff there. They're very personable, great atmosphere training there. And first 2 weeks, I believe, I only went twice a week, and I was including over spring break, and they put 2 inches on my vert, 1.5 miles per hour my top speed, and 2 inches on my broad. So off the bat, I was already feeling a lot better. It was, definitely worth the time. And, of course, getting to compete with top athletes, just this week, McClendon Curtis, other big names, 3 NFL players, a bunch of, pro baseball players have been through there. So just great environment, great to be there, definitely a blessing.
Let's go and throw it out there. Who has the fastest 40 time between you two?
Me.
Brian.
We had to, Justin. We had to.
You gotta put a little competition in there between the teammates there.
A little bitterness in Haddon's voice when he said that.
So what you kind of scramble here? I lost my part in the thing. For you, Haddon, multi-sport athlete, and we haven't really had an opportunity to tell your story to the audience here, but when we do get to it, do you have a first love? Was it baseball? Was it football? And kind of where do you stand? How do you feel about your game right now in both sports?
I feel really good. I feel like baseball is it. I've never felt more comfortable at the plate and everywhere. I mean, I feel good on the football field too. It's just baseball. Like, it's just when we got to the playoffs, I just felt different.
So
I felt like a different. Like, I remember when Connor hit the 3-run home run. I was jumping up and down. I've never done that in football before.
Haddon's like a little mini Bo Jackson, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I mean, just crushes it on the football field and crushes it on the baseball field. And it's been fun for me as his dad watching him grow each year, but had a decent freshman season in baseball, had a great football season as a freshman, great football season as a sophomore, got hurt a little bit. But then his sophomore baseball season, every month got better, and then he's just finished summer ball yesterday. And, I mean, absolutely just destroyed it. He hit almost 500 for the summer, was slugging over 700 for the summer, OPS of over 1,200. Like, just ridiculous video game stats in baseball this summer. So I'm super biased, love him like crazy, but I think Haddon can do whatever he wants in baseball or football, both.
Okay, speaking of multi-sport athletes, you mentioned Bo Jackson there. Favorite multi-sport athlete, and you got Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. Which one would you put as the top multi-sport?
Definitely Bo Jackson, especially that he played for my team, Kansas City Royals.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bryce, do you have the same opinion there, or are you going to go against the grain and go with primetime?
I honestly probably go with Bo Jackson as well, just because, like, I mean, both were absolute freaks in their own, respective fields and stuff like that. But I feel like Bo Jackson, just to do what he did at his size, I mean, he was just a mutant. But yeah, I'd probably have to go with Bo Jackson. I agree with Haddon on that one.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at Bo Jackson, Justin, we were just barely young enough to kind of, see him in his prime there on both sports. And, injury kind of cut that career short. He could have been, setting records more than he did, in the overall record books there for both sports.
Yeah, he's one of those few guys at that young age, kind of at the time, kind of being a neutral party to the NFL. He's one of those guys that just you wanted to watch him play. Same thing with Deion, too, going to all those kind of being multiple times, kind of hopping on a plane mid-game and going and finishing up a baseball game or vice versa. Some epic stuff. But I do, just the dedication it takes for all these athletes that we have that come in. You think, like, you don't really – I mean, they're in their dead period now. We're talking to these guys off the field, and it's off the record, and it's like there's no real off season. Like, they probably visit the beach and are doing up-downs in the sand. So it's what it takes, and as we've seen with time and time again, it takes hard work, and we've got hopefully again, another story with the parents involved and good leadership and good leadership over there at Ringgold now with the new coaches that are going to be fun to. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm telling you, this is going to be an exciting team, and D1 players right here, boys, come pick them up.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So, you mentioned that, Justin. We've done this series with multiple our local athletes over the last few weeks, and they mentioned, we talk about the commitment, the time commitment. It's like a whole 365-day process, depending on how many sports they play. And really, even if you're a single sport athlete, it's still a 365 a day job across the whole year. So kind of talk about, both of you guys, kind of talk about just the commitment there, because you guys are still in high school. You want to do high school things, but you also want to do what you can to kind of stay in good peak injury right there, peak condition to do what you guys do and look for opportunities at the next level. How do you guys balance the want to be a teenager and have fun in high school, but still committing yourself to doing what you got to do to be good on the field?
That's a great question. I think, honestly, you say balance, like, a lot of times, especially when you want it so bad, like, it really is hard to balance, but you just, like, try to do your best with that. I live by a quote, I will do today what others won't, so tomorrow I may do what others can't. Just in the sense that, like, there's going to be people that are more naturally talented, but how much are you willing to put in, and how much are you willing to sacrifice? So, of course, you can't always go out with everybody and go to the pool all the time. You find those moments, but really I would say you learn to fall in love with the process more than you do the results, and the results are just kind of like sprinkles on the top. So as far as the two-sport athlete, the most conflicting is probably my sophomore year we had a playoff game against Carver Atlanta, and that morning I got on a bus at 6 a.m., drove to Denmark, and competed in the state competition for one-act theater. And then I didn't stay for results and just, like, carpool some people, passed out in the car, and then went and played in the Carver game. We ended up winning the state championship for theater, but that was probably the biggest confliction as far as the two sports go. But just as far as doing both, just really a blessing, honestly, and balance is something that I think we can all improve on. So.
Haddon, speak about that yourself, and just the balance and keeping your on and off the field aspects kind of in line and check with each other.
Yes, sir. It's just when you have passion for the game, it just makes you want to grind harder and everything. And every day is just like you just love it. And like for me, it's like when I play two sports like football and baseball. My freshman year, I had played Carver, and then 2 weeks later, we had baseball practice, and after baseball season, we went right to football, and I just love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I could speak to that as the dad watching. I'm not the guy working, but I watch these guys. I don't think either of you have been to the beach this summer digging your toes in the sand. Yeah. They don't well, Bryce may have a little bit. I know Haddon has.
This opportunity is my only one in high school.
But I get to watch Haddon do this. Like, Haddon has not been to a prom or a homecoming dance yet. He gets aggravated if you ask him why he's not there. He's like, I don't have time for that. I got to go work. I got to work out. And it's just an absurd work ethic among both of these two guys. I promise you, I don't care who the best athlete in the country is. There's nobody that is in the country that works harder than these two guys do. And they do sacrifice a ton to do it. Like they don't get to do all the things that other guys do. But when you watch them on the field, whether it's football field, theater, baseball, diamond, you see why it pays off for them. I mean, they produce in an absurd way. And, I mean, you look at them. They're both chiseled. I mean, they work out. Haddon, I'm scared to wrestle him. I quit wrestling him 5 or 6 years ago because he'd pound me into the ground. Right. He's benching like 350 and can squat 550 or something like that now. But it's because I remember you were in, like, middle school, and some of the younger guys were like, Haddon, you've only played baseball for a few years. How are you good? And Haddon goes, because baseball's my job.
There you go.
And they all started looking at him. He's like, no, this is what I do.
But let's dive right back in the conversation here. And, for those who don't know the story here, you adopted this young man back right before he turned 10 years old. Kind of talk about the process with that and kind of, I guess, from you and your wife's perspective and your family's perspective, because you have two daughters as well. So kind of talk about the perspective and what that's meant to you and your family.
Yeah, we adopted Haddon just before his 10th birthday. He's been part of the family now for about 7.5 years, and it took us about 4 years to go through the adoption process. It was really lengthy. At one point, we really thought it wasn't even going to happen. I mean, we were kind of at the point where we thought, okay, I guess we're going to have to do something else. It just was so difficult, whether it was immigration on the U.S. side, going through the immigration process, or then you have to sit and you have to wait to be matched with a child. And Haddon is from Lesotho, the country of Lesotho originally, which looks like Lesotho if you see it on a map. It's landlocked, little tiny landlocked country inside of South Africa, so about 4 hours from Johannesburg. And that's where we were working with. And the way they work is they match you with a child, they send you a picture and a dossier, and then you say yes or no. And then you don't actually meet the child until a little over a year later once the adoption is finalized. So we didn't even meet Haddon until he was already our son. The judge had already declared him our son, and that seemed a little unusual at first. And then we thought, well, if we were giving birth to a child, we don't. You don't pick. You don't. Say yes or no. You just, this is who the Lord gives you, and you're happy with it. And in our case, Haddon could not be a better son. I mean, in all honesty, and he's sitting here, and I'm really deadgum proud of him. He loves the Lord. He works his tail off. He's a good student. He's got, I think, like a 3.7 GPA after his first 2 years of high school, which is, to me, all of those things are unbelievably impressive, because when he moved here 7 years ago, he didn't speak English. He'd never seen baseball, and he'd never seen football. And now, he's excelling in school. Coaches love him. Bryce can tell you this. His teammates love him. His coaches love him. He listens well. He works hard. He's super involved at our church. Like I said, loves the Lord, and excels on a field, whether it's baseball diamond or the football field, that, as I said, he didn't even know what it was 7 years ago. I mean, he put on pads for the first time as a sixth grader, and immediately you knew he's rough. This is going to take a little bit to figure out the game, but it's going to be impressive. This is going to be exciting, and so yeah, I mean, he's been a part of the family now 7.5 years. We've lived in Ringgold the whole time. He's been a student in the Ringgold school system the whole time, which huge shout out to the Ringgold school system. They've been amazing helping Haddon, whether it's adjusting to learning language, getting caught up and all that stuff. And it's been a fantastic process for us. I'm really proud of him.
I guess, Haddon, let's throw it back to you. I guess from your perspective, talk about that process for you. And, like your dad mentioned here, I mean, I didn't know this either until I started reading about you. You didn't know English. You never seen football or baseball. So kind of talk about that and kind of the adjustments of, kind of adjusting to the American way of life and picking up those two sports.
Oh, yes, sir. I really didn't know what was going on at first.
Sure.
When I first met them, I was like, who are these people? Like, why am I going with them? And then the first day they took me, I was like, this ain't America. we decided to stay in Africa for like, was it 2 months?
We had to be there for a month, so we had to wait a month before we came home.
And sports, it was just tried to keep up with the other kids.
Yeah, and when Haddon came to us, he grew up playing soccer and was really good. Really, I mean, he's an athlete, so he could play anything he wants to. And the thing about Lesotho, the country he's from, it's the highest country in the world. So there are higher points than Lesotho, but the lowest point in Lesotho is the capital city, which is where he's from, which is equal to Mile High. So it's equal to Denver. That's the lowest point in the whole country. Okay. I actually think that's one of the reasons why he may be a good athlete, because his lungs were expanded. He had expanded lung capacity. Anyway, so he's a good athlete. He could play soccer, but when he came to the U.S., he's like, no, I want to play American sports. And so for him, it was baseball, and we started playing rec ball at Camp Jordan, and then it was football when he got to Ringgold Middle. And, man, he just took to him like a duck to water.
Was there something, Haddon, that you maybe thought would be a huge adjustment that you're like, oh, this is actually pretty easy? Or conversely, was there something that's like, man, this is I'm still getting used to this part of being kind of over here in a new family and a new way of life?
Yes, sir. It took me a minute to adjust, especially in sports. Like baseball, as a kid, I wasn't good. I carried the bat with me to first base. I'm like,
we have video of him his very first hit game at Camp Jordan. He got a hit, and he did. He dragged the bat all the way with him to first base.
and football, every time I got a toss, I'd drop it. So next year I had to fix that, but I just adjusted and just try to keep up with the other kids and try to outwork them.
What he doesn't tell you is we've got videos of him. He's right. Quarterback would toss him the ball as a running back, and he'd drop it, and then he'd run 3 yards, pick it up, and take it in for a touchdown.
Score on it, right.
I've got multiple videos of him doing that.
Favorite place to eat or favorite thing to do as a teenager in Ringgold, Georgia, 2024?
Hang out with friends, and favorite place to go eat is probably Zaxby's.
It's funny because I don't know if you know who Caleb Hampton is. He played at Baylor, is at Stanford, and he said the exact same thing. He was in here a couple weeks ago and said the one thing he misses about here is the Zaxby's. That's that's his favorite place to go. That's funny.
That is tremendous stuff. So you talk about learning football, the sport of football, from that environment there. Do you have a preference? You like offense? You like tackling people? What's more? Bryce, you can handle this too. If you the tackle machine over here, Bryce, the Hitman Hart.
That's the truth.
And there's no doubt how this gentleman's won president a couple times in a row at the down there at Ringgold. But yeah, just that question: your preferred position in football, and is that offense or is it defense?
Yeah, sure. It's running back, offense, but it's fun sometimes when you just hit somebody carrying the football. It's just fun.
We got 2 linebackers right here, so if they get across that first line of defense there, you got 2 pretty stout guys ready to try to not go any further.
Can you imagine being a quarterback and looking up to take a snap and you see Bryce Hart and Haddon Freeze on either end of the line just staring you down?
It's going to be fun.
I'd say 9 times out of 10 that guy with the ball is going to either run or take a knee for sure, right? So, but just one thing we also, and your dad mentioned, there is a website with a little bit of information about you, and obviously it's a digital age, and so many good opportunities for a lot of our local athletes are getting. So, one thing we found out about you, I think it said you're actually doing summer work for the Chattanooga Lookouts, I believe. So
yes,
that's definitely a local connection there, definitely a cool thing, and obviously your first love being baseball, it's kind of a cool thing there. To kind of talk about just working with them and to kind of give us a behind the scenes peek of kind of your favorite thing about the job besides obviously, just spending a night or day at the ballpark.
Yes, sir. It's just fun because I just rake and do all baseball stuff that I love. And mainly I just watch baseball and watch what they do and how they do it. And Coach Walker told me all the time, he's like, that's really cool because none of the guys just like don't understand like how our field stuff works and like because at the beginning of the year, Coach Tucker taught us to play oppo, and everybody was like, nah, this ain't it. And I've been watching the lookouts on all the other teams, and they do the exact same thing we do.
That's awesome. And, I mean, the lookouts are known for promotions and giveaways and stuff like that. Used car night, there's fireworks nights all the time, multiple, like it's, Chick-fil-A or, everything's like $1 or $2. Do you have a favorite promotion, or is it kind of just like, hey, I just like being at the ballpark?
I just like being in the ballpark.
This Saturday, though, the promotion, remember? The Ellie De La Cruz bobblehead.
But he ain't going to be there, so I can't get it because you have to have a ticket.
Yes, Haddon as an employee can't get that one, but yeah.
Yeah, first 1,000 in, get the De La Cruz bobblehead, right? Yeah, so we talked a little bit in the break here about kind of professional teams. Kansas City came up, Green Bay Packers. Do either one of you guys have a player you like to emulate, a player you like to watch, or maybe somebody you aspire to be?
I like Roquan Smith now, but honestly, like, I go back and watch a lot of Ray Lewis, and like what sticks out to me about him is like he's not like the biggest genetic freak ever. He's not like doesn't have the craziest footwork ever. But it's just like I guess more modern terms, he's got that dog in him. He's just high energy, high effort, has no fear. There's not a length he's not willing to go to be great in the game. And it's not really, for the fame or the status. He just does it for the love of the game, and that's kind of where I see myself, and where I try to be. Don't have the fanciest footwork or not the most, genetically just the freakiest, but just bringing the effort, bringing the energy every single game, because every single game that you're healthy enough to play is a blessing. I'd say Roquan Smith is probably like right now linebacker I watch a lot though.
Haddon, how about you? We were talking during the break. You guys are obviously big Kansas City sports fans. Period. Big. I mean, is it Patrick Mahomes? I mean, that's the easy one, I guess.
Yes,
but
sir.
Is it him, or if it's not, give us somebody under the radar that kind of people should be keeping an eye on for sure.
Yeah, yes, sir. My favorite player to watch is Bobby Witt Jr. He plays shortstop for the Kansas City Royals.
Okay.
I just love his swing and like the way he goes about the game. He plays the game the right way. And his speed of the game, just 5'2" player, and I just like comparing myself to him sometimes because I feel like I can be a 5'2" player.
Who's your favorite all-time baseball player? It doesn't have to be a Royals. It could be anybody, but
all time is Mike Trout.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, because we were just talking off air, talking about the Mike Trout playoff, drought he's been on. So that's pretty interesting.
It's tragic. He deserves better.
And Bryce, for you also, do you have a favorite actor? You mentioned you were in theater. Is there a movie or an
Great
actor
question.
that we need to see?
This is fantastic.
And are you starring in any upcoming productions that we need to know about?
Ringgold is known for having a pretty good drama department down
The
there.
best drama department in the state.
Actually, Miss Ellis, Miss Janae Ellis, and then Miss Kelly Schroeder are two directors. They have so the past every year I've been there, we were the top two in the state for one act theater. We won the one act theater state championship my sophomore year, and then my freshman year and this past year we came second state. But as far as favorite actor, I really like Michael B. Jordan. Enough said, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's great at his job, he's great at what he does. There's, of course, just a few other people that I admire, like their ability to be expressive. As far as like Broadway, I really like almost said Michael B. Jordan again. I like Jeremy Jordan. He's insane. Point blank period. His voice is amazing. As far as upcoming productions, we have Hadestown. We're doing Hadestown in the fall. And then we'll be doing Anything Goes in the spring. Cast list hasn't come out yet. I haven't even auditioned yet. I'm preparing for auditions right now. So I don't have an answer on that one just yet.
Let me just say, too, you got to come see Hadestown. If you've never seen a production at Ringgold High, it's unbelievable. I've seen Hadestown on Broadway in New York City. Phenomenal. And it's going to be here. The Broadway show is going to be in Chattanooga in March.
Tivoli, I think.
At the Tivoli. But I'm telling you, you need to come see Ringgold High. Janae Ellis, we call her the GOAT. She's built the best program in the state, and it's phenomenal.
Follow-up question to that. What's it got to do to get this guy to join in a production with you?
Please tell us.
I've tried, man. You wouldn't even believe it, man. He went and watched All Shook Up. I was leading that one. I was Dean Hyde, more of like a kind of a, I guess you could say, I don't want to say nerd. He's scared of his mom. His mom's the mayor. And I basically fall in love in the show. It was very uncomfortable for me because I'm not very like a sappy, sentimental type. I didn't have to be like sappy, sentimental, but I had to be, a little bit softer than I normally am. It's weird for me. But there's a character in the show played by Jethro Stollard. The character's name is Sheriff Earl. And he literally does not speak until the very end. But he's on stage a lot, and he's very like goofy. And so Haddon came to see the show, and I received some videos from Micah over here, and seen it in person, live in action, if you know what I mean. Haddon, there's 4K footage of him doing and emulating the walk, the special walk, the unique walk, goofy walk, whatever, that Sheriff Earl does. And so I try hard to get him to join, and he hinted at it like he was going to do it if he had time, but he was just leading me on. So he's not joining theater anytime soon. But
come on, Haddon.
No
interest at all, Haddon, doing that. We might have to
No,
talk to Coach Crisp and Coach Walker down there and see if we can let it go for at least a couple of weeks and see if you got what it takes, right?
Put him in the theater.
We're joined again by Bryce, Hart, Haddon Freeze, and his father Micah Freeze on Off the Bench on Talk 102.3.
I do have a follow-up question to that. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Ooh, that's a good question.
both of
What's
you.
your favorite movie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine's Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Good one.
Yes, sir.
why?
Haddon loves those Marvel movies.
I got a Captain America toy in my room. I got it on the way to America.
In South Africa is the first thing we bought him after he had to get a whole bunch of vaccinations. We got him a Captain America
And that was
thing.
that was the first movie I watched on the plane, and I've loved it ever since. I actually just watched it like 2 days ago.
He threatened to beat me up over that toy. We were messing around last night. I was at his house, and I stole his beloved hoodie. I took off running. I jumped in my car and got out his driveway and told him I dropped it off 4 driveways down. And so then he began to meaningless threats, empty words, if you will, ladies and gentlemen. But then I was letting him check my car, even though I hid under my seat. He just didn't check under my seat. I was like, you can check my car. It's not in there. So he was in my front seat, my passenger seat, and he ended up swiping my massage gun and my creatine and ran inside. And so I chased him inside, got my creatine back, and then the second trip around, this happened twice, he got my massage gun. I walked in the house, and Micah's office light was on. I didn't even pay attention to it. Haddon was like, I don't know why that office light on. Turn it on. I was like, wait a minute, that light wasn't on. So I knew it was in there. I then, went in there, checked it out, ended up finding my massage gun, and then we went in his room, and he was like looking at this little action figure. I guess it was the Captain America action figure, and he said that if anybody ever took it and broke in and took it, basically it would be some problems, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I can attest he does indeed love Captain America. My favorite movie series. I absolutely love Harry Potter. I'm a nerd like that.
Okay, there you go.
I always say, like, if I didn't play football, I'd be a nerd. I write poetry and stuff like that. But Harry Potter, I don't know, just in my opinion, best movie series ever made.
So put Haddon in a house and put yourself in a house.
That was my follow-up question. What house are you?
Snap. It depends on what mood Haddon's in. Sometimes he's straight Hufflepuff, man. But then sometimes I can see the Gryffindor poking through. It gets a little more serious. But
Hey, Bryce, next in about 3 weeks I'll be at Oxford on campus at Christ Church where the Harry Potter movies were filmed.
I swear Micah knows everybody. He's met everybody. He's probably bumped shoulders with the president at some point or another.
He's probably met Daniel Radcliffe, honestly, the guy who played Harry Potter in the film series.
Yes. He actually just won a Tony for musical theater.
There you go.
Yeah, so I would say probably Harry Potter.
But what house are you, though?
Gryffindor. I've
Gryffindor.
never not tested Gryffindor, so natural.
These have got to be the two most well-rounded baseball players you've ever talked to.
That's obviously. Yeah, my wife is a Potterhead too, and she's Hufflepuff along with my daughter. And I took the quiz or whatever. I'm Ravenclaw, which means I'm intelligent, but you knew that already, right? So
You're a lucky man.
Yeah, exactly. I need brains for sure. So, had a great conversation tonight with Bryce Hart, Haddon Freeze, and Micah Freeze. I want to thank all three of you for coming in tonight and having some fun with us. We talked movies, we talked acting, we talked sports, and pretty well-rounded show, Justin Sims.
Yeah, like Micah was saying, the most well-rounded athletes and theater actors we have here will probably be seeing this one guy on the silver screen. And we can talk about it a little bit more, Bryce. Kind of, you've got a couple, 3 offers now standing, and you can just kind of quickly speak to that. And then maybe if you guys have a chance to talk about your baseball coaching staffs. We talked a little bit about the theater already, but just kind of talk about your D1 offers and then what's going on at Ringgold.
First and foremost, I just want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Prayed about this for many, many years now. Been a big goal of mine. At times, I told myself no. A lot of other people told me no, but when Jesus Christ tells you yes, that's all that matters. So I'm very grateful. I have 3 D1 offers right now. From Georgetown, the Hoyas, Army West Point, and Austin P. Just incredibly grateful. Still plenty of work to be done. At the end of the day, I'm not doing it to, be a 5-star or, stack a bunch of offers. It's about being the best. But most of all, just grateful.
Pretty strong offer list right there. Really good academic institutions right there for sure. So, give your coaches a shout-out, give your teammates a shout-out right here, and, and just anybody else you want to talk about for sure before we get out of here.
Okay, so we'll say the best for last. Haddon, that's going to wrap us up. But I actually want to talk about Haddon first. He's a great teammate. He's one of those guys that are very reliable. I don't really ever have to worry about him. Sometimes he'll catch attitude, but that's about it.
Here we go.
He's a great teammate. Pushes me to work harder. I feel like I do the same, so we just bounce off each other in that way. As a teammate, he couldn't really be much better. Very reliable, tough. He's not going to, stub his toe and cry about it and not practice. Coach Chris, he hit the ground running when he came in and took the job as new head coach. Very serious about what he does. I had one conversation with him. He even talked about, the little things, like, the things he's wearing and what's his intention for the team and what he envisions, long-term for the team. So he's really big on, building a big program and giving us opportunities. And even like Coach White, our defensive coordinator, man, he's a genius. Not going to lie, there's been several games that he gave me, a few tips he saw on film and, really helped. So very grateful for him. Good coaching staff over there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have a really good coaching staff at Ringgold. I met Coach Walker in 6th grade. I went to a baseball camp at the high school, and at first I'm like, "Who is this guy?" I don't know him. But I started knowing him more in 7th grade year, and we just started talking, and I asked him why we go through this crazy workout, because Laney comes out with our other baseball coach. These military workouts that you never seen, but he told us this is why at a certain point teams drop off, and this is where we start becoming better. And it was the weight room, and he was this is why we compete for the state title every single year. And I was just left. My mouth was just wide open. I was like, dang.
You got a little sign of things to come for sure, right?
Yes, sir.
So, well, guys, we got a little less than a minute left. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of your summers to come down here and join us. Micah, thank you for helping put this together as well.
Yeah, and I just want to mention Haddon's got a website, haddonfreeze.com, haddonfreeze.com. All of his social media links are on there, and we'd love for you to visit it. Check out haddonfreeze.com.
Bryce, real quick, social media handle real quick so they can follow you and what you do.
Twitter is Bryce quotation the Hitman quotation Hart, or it's at BRiceLegend49. Made it when I was a lot younger, but yeah.